Welcome to the JMark Business Innovation Technology Experience.
Well, why don't you first describe a little bit about the company, what you guys do, and when you saw the need to move to a remote environment?
Yeah, so my name is Greg Sutton. I am the Vice President of Finance with TransLand here in Stratford, Missouri. TransLand is a transportation company primarily focused on over-the-road dry van trucking. We have 220 drivers and 53 office employees. That includes our shop that has around 13 technicians in it.
Okay.
We provide transportation services throughout the 48 United States, and service a lot of consumer products, packaging, beverage companies throughout the United States.
Okay, great. Well, you guys have definitely a necessary and essential business right now.
For sure. Yeah, we have seen a definite high demand for services since some of these orders have came out, and there's kind of been a rush on essential products at your local stores that have created a higher demand for our services to replenish those.
So with everything that's happened with COVID-19, when did you start seeing, and I mean, was it after the order was made in Missouri, or was it before you're kind of seeing the signs like, okay, we need to move this and go remote? And how did that kind of go?
Well, the executive team here kept a really close eye on it. I mean, even as early as February, when the rumblings were really coming here to the United States, we started looking at it pretty close. It was something that was not being taken lightly at the national level, and so it kind of raised our eyebrows as to something that's not likely to go away anytime soon. So really there, probably about the end of February, we started daily chats amongst the executive team to start talking about what we were hearing, and started really digging into our business continuity and disaster recovery plans that had been kind of put away in the shelves of business processes, but was pretty up to date, at least with the core portions of it. But knowing that something like this had the capabilities of needing a lot more thought and effort put into it to make sure that we were ready for whatever was going to come across.
And as you were preparing for this, what challenges were presenting themselves? What were you guys worried about?
Well, we had a pretty good, at least from the technology perspective, a pretty good infrastructure set up. So a lot of the services and technologies that we use, we knew were pretty remote capable. From a lot of the leadership team didn't use it frequently, but had done remote work, either while away on conferences or, needing a day to kind of get away from the office and spend a little bit of quiet time. We knew that, the infrastructure was probably there to support it, though we were very aware that it had not been something, at least inside of TransLand, that had been deployed at a level that we thought we may have to go to. So a lot of our team members were not set up at their home locations to support, an extended period away from the office. So very early on, we started talking about what was needed, how were we going to accommodate that level of remote work, and what tools did they need to have at their fingertips, really, to be able to be successful from outside the office.
Okay. And did you have a gradual move, or was it kind of a, okay, everybody get out of here?
Yeah, so like I said, we really started looking at this pretty closely there at the end of February. As we rolled into early March, we started making plans. So we were checking out remote tools. I mean, primarily laptops. A lot of the office employees traditionally had used a desktop computer. So we had some laptops that were able to be deployed. So we started getting those set up, ready for them to take, and then started doing trials almost immediately as those became available. Sending them home with a team member, and then having them, evaluate: can I get connected? Did the tools that I have connect and work, and I have access to them? And then we did really day trials there through early March of, okay, so now you have it. You tested it last night. It worked. This Thursday, go ahead and plan to work from home. So by the time the order was, more locally bound by the Greene County Health Department, we were able to go ahead and move forward with full deployment of remote work.
Okay. What was JMark's role in assisting with this?
Yeah, so JMark is our technology and support provider. So they had already set up the remote work, remote servers, connectivity, and we utilize remote desktop for some of our legacy back-end applications that are our operational tools. So that was already stood up thanks to JMark, and then really on-call help desk support as we were deploying the laptops and getting the hardware up and running for those employees. So they helped provide user access, user login support for people who hadn't had to really log in remote before. So we put a big strain, I think, on them for several days as we were trying to get these users with the right access and the right tools on those computers.
Well, I applaud you in having the foresight and the plans in place to gradually move there, instead of a lot of companies that Monday after the announcement, it was just like panic.
Yeah.
Everybody doing it. So that's great that you had the opportunity to kind of slowly move into it and get everybody tested.
Yeah, we know. I mean, our workforce, with the professional drivers will always be essential to the nation's response to anything. And so anytime there's an event, whether it be this pandemic, which we probably would not have thought of a couple of months ago, but natural disasters, there's always a need for trucking services. And then amplify that with, as you heard, we're 220 drivers to 50 office employees. There's a lot more out on the road away from the office that need our support 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And so we don't have the option of putting a day on hold and say, don't call in, customers, sorry. That's not an option for us. So having a plan in place and being able to execute it is something that is essential to our role as support to our drivers and the health and safety of our drivers, but also to the nation to make sure that they're prepared in these events.
That's great. When you made the transition over to fully remote, did you have, what were some of the concerns that various employees had who maybe hadn't done much remote work? And how did you overcome those?
Yeah, so I think first was overcoming the technical hurdles. We lived and worked in an office environment here. It's an open environment. Professional drivers are coming in and out and able to talk to their fleet manager, being able to talk to a customer service representative, checking their payroll with the payroll clerk right in front of them, right? So, that hurts a little bit for us. It's very family. We take those drivers and their needs at a very high level. And so how can I make sure I provide that same level of service through a remote environment. I don't know that we have a great answer for that yet, but that's first and foremost, is making sure that they're taken care of, that they still feel valued, and are getting the level of support they need. So that's something that's always going to weigh heavy on all of our employees. The second is because of that open work environment, the way we communicated was a little bit different. It's I can go talk to somebody and resolve this issue, or, I can, talk to my teammate across the desk or across the aisle to resolve these issues very quickly. And so I think overcoming the hurdles of, just because I'm not at the office and I'm not right next to them, I can still get the type of responses that I need in order to make this machine run. And so that's really been, I think, we're already seeing that, kind of fall off, and people are seeing that when you send a Teams message, we answer that very quickly. When you call your 8x8 phone extension, we answer it. So, the ways we're communicating have had to adapt to the new situation, but our responsiveness doesn't necessarily have to.
What are some of the tools that have helped you to maintain that collaboration and teamwork?
Yeah, so we mentioned just a couple of them. We use Microsoft Teams as our primary kind of chat and information sharing tool. So we have channels set up for departments for different use cases where we can share and collaborate through that way. And then we use the chat version for instant messaging, and have really relegated all of our team stand-ups and meetings to video chats and calls through Microsoft Teams. We have 8x8 phone system that provides us with outside line connectivity, and then essentially has taken for all of our users their traditional desk phone and turned it into a desktop application they can run on their computer, or a mobile application that they run on their phones. So they have access to those traditional communication methods. We use the remote desktop services hosted by JMark for our operational system. So usually have that up in a remote desktop version. And then Microsoft Outlook, which is our outbound communication primarily to our customers, and so we use all of those really in unison. And I think that's a challenge, coming from, we've tried to roll out some of these new features like Microsoft Teams, not overly recently. This isn't something that's came as a result of the COVID-19, but was still pretty new to everyone. So making sure that, what channels do I use and when? What methods of communication should I use and when is something that isn't perfected, but we're still seeing good response times come across. So I think people are becoming more comfortable with that.
Yeah, we saw in the chat application at JMark, we saw an increase of about 3,000 chats per day when we went remote.
Yeah.
Kind of like, whoa.
Yeah.
What would you say to the leader or manager that is in this new situation of having to now, make this collaboration work and, make sure that their team is okay and the individuals from a personal level are okay? And it's a little different dynamic when you're not, like you said, across the aisle.
It is. Yeah, so I've really got to applaud our Vice President of HR, Laura Gates, on putting together some great plans for all of us to use. And I think first is we really provide regular check-ins with everyone. So all of our team members are checking in. For my team, it's about 8:15 and 3:30 in the afternoon. So we're just reaching out, making sure everything's going all right. If there's any statistics related to their job functions that we monitor, they may be providing results on those at those times. And so, we try to use, I try to use video whenever possible. So that way we can put a face with a name and the voice with my face and the expression, because that makes it a little bit more personal. and I like seeing people, and I like being engaged in those conversations as well. So we've been doing that. Our vice president of HR has personally reached out to a lot of individuals, and it can be a mentally challenging time on top of changing a work environment. You have kids that are at home probably now, that historically, even in a remote work environment, were at school for most of the day. And then you have the pressure of the news, that is constantly inundating you through various channels, that is kind of bombarding you with the facts or perceived facts of what's going on out there. So, she's checking in on kind of different levels than just day-to-day work. And so those have all, I think, in combination have turned into, as good a results as possible, as quick as we had to deploy it. But I think recommending, kind of that regular schedule, keeping the connections high, keeping connections from different people inside the organization, just to back check and maybe get some different feedback on different items. It will pay dividends to making sure you have success.
Great. What are, obviously you're involved with getting all the supplies out there, but is there anything that you would want to share with the community of how you're really helping the community to kind of get over this crisis?
Well, I think, this is something, to me, it's raised a lot of awareness on how the supply chain works. It is solid. There's a lot of partners out there that are working together to make sure that the things that you need on a daily basis are provided in an effective and timely manner to the places you want to buy it. So, while, you may go to the grocery store one day and the toilet paper aisle is empty, there's 70% of the goods transported in the United States are transported on trucks, and there's a lot of us here that feel the same way about answering the call to the nation to supply those items, fill those warehouses, and keep those shelves full. That it's going to take a pretty big hit to make an impact on that. And so those items are being produced. Our customers are out there producing these as fast as possible. We're getting them in a truck and we're delivering them to your locations. So, there's been the higher calling for our drivers to come out and supply these goods that are essential to really our everyday lives. And so, on the flip side, we've seen that kind of raised to the forefront. So, drivers are doing this 365 days a year, 24 hours a day. There's a driver out there making a delivery somewhere. And now people are realizing that that's the way the supply chain works, and we've got your back.
Sure. Awesome. How have the drivers and everybody, as they're going out all over the place, have they come back with any examples of, good things they've seen in the communities that they're delivering stuff to, or the ways the communities are kind of pulling together?
Our drivers are coming back and reporting, again, that raised awareness of how essential their jobs are. I mean, something that happened last week was one of our drivers got pulled into a weight station, which historically not something that a driver looks forward to. They're going to get scaled. They're going to get that DOT. For TransLand, that's usually our equipment's in tip-top shape, so that's usually not an issue. But instead of getting scaled and getting kind of that overview, he was greeted with a lunch from the Lieutenant Governor of Iowa. So, it's neat to see the governments, the businesses, the local communities really responding to this need, and really providing resources. I mean, right now with the way it can be difficult at a store to get it, even when you live at your home. So, we can drive by Dollar General every night and check to see if they have what you're looking for. Our professional drivers out on the road, and so they're driving a 53-foot truck and trailer, and answering those calls. And so those can be challenging. So partners like, pilots and Flying J's and the truck stops are, making sure they stay open, making sure they have choices for food and drinks and some of those items that are important to them. And then even, truckers helping truckers, there's drivers out there that are helping each other out, whether it's with, goods and stuff that they have in stock that maybe others don't. They're trying to find ways to help each other out.
That's wonderful. How has the office staff, I mean, I know you said you've always been kind of 24 hours.
Mm-hmm.
But with this increased demand and increased expectation, how has the office staff kind of kept up with it and stress and workload, and how has that happened?
I think that they've done a fantastic job. Again, everyone's kind of beating to the same drum here. We want drivers to be safe and healthy. We want these goods delivered damage-free and safe to our customers and for our customers. So, they're answering that call. The tools that they're having to use to communicate are all familiar with them, familiar with what they do. So, it's kind of, I think trucking can be stressful at times, and this is no exception. So they're answering that call, helping everyone out to get those things done.
Well, are there any last words or advice that you would recommend to or give to anybody else that's struggling through the situation of transitioning to a remote environment?
I think for us this is going to be really kind of a pivotal moment, and the way that we just do work in general. I would expect this to become more of a regular occurrence. So even post COVID-19, that we have more people potentially working remote at one time.
Okay.
I think we're going to be, I think we were in a good spot to begin with. I think it's only going to get better as we move forward, and providing the tools and resources just out of the box and not having to be maybe a little bit reactionary will be, kind of more in the forefront with how we do this, and concerns about, productivity or ways to communicate or changes in communication patterns. We have great people that work here, and, those could be fears in the back of your head, but none of our data shows that that's the case. And so, we're excited about the way that we've changed the organization just in a very short amount of time, with the way we communicate, the way we deploy tools, and the way that we're going to work in the future to make sure that we're answering those calls.
Wonderful. Well, I appreciate you taking the time to talk to me today. I applaud everything that you guys are doing. You're really the heroes out there, and I appreciate all the hard work that all the truckers and all your office staff are doing to get supplies into the hands of everybody out there. There's such a need, and your service is so vital. So it makes me proud to be able to work for a company that can help enable you in some little way with the technology to make that happen. Yeah. So keep up the great work, and as always, let us know how we can help.
Well, we appreciate the support as well, and look forward to continuing to deliver excellence.
Great. Take care.
Yep.
Bye.
Thank you for attending this podcast. We hope it has been informative and helped convey that at JMark, we are people first and technology second. To learn more and discover additional content relevant to your business, please visit us online at jmark.com or at LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. You may also call us at 844-44-JMark. Thank you for your time, and we look forward to seeing you again.